Ospedale Vecchio, the old hospital. Still known locally as Ospedale Vecchio, even though it now houses residential apartments, this complex of buildings wasn't always used for medical purposes. It was first of religious use, then military. The old hospital should really have been called the new hospital, as it was built in the early 19th century to replace the medieval hospital of Piazza Manzoni, which was entrusted to the religious orders. When it was rebuilt, it followed changes to the healthcare service and sanitation measures made by the Bonaparte Bacchiocchi. These measures provided hospitalization and care for the sick, not just for the poor and infirm, to be implemented in a large ventilated area and possibly by the sea. In 1810, the engineers in charge of the work joined two previous buildings, the church of Sant'Antimo sopra i Canali, which had been built in the first half of the 13th century in Gothic style, as reflected by the windows with pointed arches in both the north and east side apses, and the convent dedicated to St. Anastasia, the patron saint of the city, from 1615. The hospital, founded in 1810, qualified as royal as early as 1833 by decree of the Grand Duke of Tuscany, and was therefore recognised and accredited for the treatment of malaria. In the early 1900s, there was intense study of and care for respiratory diseases related to the working conditions in factories. The development of these studies in the medical field, strongly boosted by social ethics, came under the influence of particularly charismatic doctors who worked in the town, such as Antonio Mori, appointed medical director in 1905, and Ettore Zannellini. It combined military and civilian functions until 1925, when local authorities called the architect Ugo Giovanozzi one of the most celebrated artists of the early 20th century to restore it. The premises were expanded and equipped with large windows and modern operating theatres. Emergency and post-surgery hospitalisation was supplied. Giovanozzi, the original hospital architect, worked in Piombino until the end of the 1930s, building other public and recreational buildings. He was an expert blessed with the spirit of service towards his fellow citizens. For the hospital renovation work, which lasted for 8 years, he did not claim any compensation. He only asked for a plaque in memory of his son Mario, who had died in a plane crash. The hospital continued to function under the name of the Vittorio Emanuele III Hospital until the Republican institutional change, when it took the name of Civil Hospital of Piombino. It was subsequently absorbed into a new structure built into the 1960s. And it continued to expand in the 1980s. A modern hospital for Piombino was built on the outskirts of the town.